eliminate a whole nation.
Right.
He said, who's talking of the Armenians today? Yes,
Wow.
that's a famous quotation of his. One American person did a lot to help us, but he couldn't get too far. And that was the ambassador to Turkey at the time, Henry Morgenthau. He tried to help a lot. He did a lot, but it didn't work. So I think it is his son or his grandson, is always present each time they have a big ceremony in connection with the genocide in New York. They try to help, but again, even today, each time the United States government says officially we're accepting it, Turkey is saying, if you accept, if you admit it, if you want to take that, we will no longer let you put your troops in our country. It's the strategic location of the country that's giving them the power. Some countries have already adopted it and have said, yes, it happened. The Northern European, and some others are still dilly-dallying. Now what Turkey should do is say, okay, this is what I don't understand. Why can't they say, we are sorry it happened, we didn't do it, we didn't want it to happen, but our forefathers did something that was not, we apologize, we are brothers and sisters. They're not doing that. And then they want to become part of the European Union. Now, see, Germany did it, but Germany accepted it, and they had women in college, they had, even in Egypt they had them. But not in every school. See, when I was in Beirut, I couldn't go to the American University, the School of Engineering. Women were not allowed in the School of Engineering. And men were not allowed in the School of Nursing. That's how it was then. I understand that it's changed now. But in my community, I was one of maybe two families that I know of. There was one other person I knew who became she became a doctor or a dentist. And then there was one other woman who became a dentist. Yeah. And I was strictly for university. My father really wanted us to become physicians, but that's changed. And my father, he knew the value of education. He knew the hardships of the lack of education. So he wanted both of us. He used to say to me, I don't care if you are a girl or a boy. If you have a brain in your head and I have money in my pocket, you're going to school. That was his mantra. Oh, my mother was fine because she was a very well-educated woman. My mother spoke English fluently. She had been to an English school. Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's very sad. My father died 2 months before we graduated from college. Didn't see his dream come true. On the other hand, maybe he did. No, she came here much later because that's another complicated story. It's Egyptian story. So my brother came first, then I came here, all independently of each other. And then my mother was stuck in Egypt. She couldn't leave. Oh. See, the law did not allow the Egyptian subjects to leave the country for anything other than a strict medical purpose or studying, especially if you had profession. If you were going to travel as a tourist, if you were a woman, you had to be 60. If you were a man, you had to be 65. Before that, you couldn't travel. My mother was not in that category. she couldn't come. She couldn't leave the country. When she turned 60, she could come. So she came here to visit us and stayed on.
So there's still a large Armenian community in Alexandria?
Not as much, since that influx into Canada, the numbers diminished by 90%, more than that.
Wow.
Yeah. But there is a community, they have a church, they do everything the way they used to do, except now it's not strictly Armenian. They've got other, it's different. Of course, life has changed.
Right.
Yes, Egypt was very good. It was a wonderful country, good host. You see, we came and we made Egypt prosper at the same time, because even though they arrived as refugees, the Armenians are very hardworking and they're smart people. They're self-sufficient. So they studied, they developed businesses, they had factories, they had tailor shops and shoe shops and jewelry stores, pharmacies, you name it, they did it. And they helped prosper Egypt, a comfortable life. Every winter, opera companies from Italy, the ballet from France, they would come and we would have season tickets to all of them.
Okay.
The movies, theaters had movies from the United States, from France, from Greece, from Italy, plus the Egyptian movies. And it was comfortable, it was beautiful, the climate was good. Alexandria. And it was built in European architecture.
Oh.
We lived in apartment buildings that were 7 or 8 stories high, or 2 or 3 stories high. And so that's why you had the contact with all the neighbors. And of course, it was a different kind of living. The women didn't go to work like they do now. Everybody was home. It was just different, very relaxed kind of life. Because in the beginning, Armenia was a Soviet, and then in 1992, they became an independent republic. And in 2003, for my 70th birthday, it was my present for my birthday to go to Armenia with Marcel. So we went on a tour that was being organized by the diocese in New York. It was called a pilgrimage. Armenia became a Christian nation in the year 301. So in 2001, they celebrated the 1700th anniversary. But in the year 303, they built the Mother Cathedral. And the year 2003, it was the 1700th anniversary of the cathedral. And that's what we attended. I went into that cathedral. It was just unbelievable. Go to Armenia. I have a story written about that. That's going to be coming in the next book. The emotions, the feelings, the fighting inside of me, very, very difficult. And I can't read that without tears. I can't. But in the morning, we used to get out of the hotel and walk in the park that was right in front of us. And one of the mornings, early, we were there 2 weeks. It's not a long story. So one of those mornings, and I looked up, and it was very early, like 6 o'clock we would be walking. Suddenly I saw the silhouette of Ararat That was just, because Mount Ararat is what we identify with. It's it's almost in your genes as an Armenian, because the artists, the painters, the poets, the musicians, Ararat is, Armenia is not very big. It's a very tiny country. I can't tell you the size.
Is it on the Caspian or?
No, it's landlocked. That's the tough part. Yeah, that's the tough part. And when we went there, after the independence, Armenia for about 5 years had no electricity. This is a mountainous country, snow, cold in the winter. They had cut down every single tree that they could and burned it to survive, because Turkey would not allow pipelines to go through. So there is a project, the Armenia Tree Project, that started from New York. The American Armenians do a lot of helping, and we're replanting Armenia. I mean the trees. Yeah, I love to help them a lot. In this community I'm active, but not in Armenian, to the larger community, no. But if it comes to my attention, I will help. There are a couple of projects that are dear to my heart. One of them is the Tree Project. The other one is the Armenia Eye Care Project, which sends, helps out with children and older people with eye problems, eye health. And that's very important for me. It's a fundraiser, but I don't do anything to raise funds. I just send some money from time to time. But that's one of my pet projects.
My mentor for the senior project is Kachig Moradian, and he was...
Kachig, spell the last name?
Maroudian.
Muradian? Is he familiar with the community?
Yeah, he's an editor for the Armenian Weekly.
Oh, in Rochester?
He lives in Boston, but he travels a lot.
Okay, so that's it. So he okay, because he's not familiar to me as far as Rochester is concerned. Now, where do you go to school?
Schrader.
That's what I thought you said, but how is he your...
Well, I met him by online, so I asked him to be my mentor, and he was just, sure, why not?
Life is so different. Systems is so different. I just can't be... This is beautiful. Wonderful.
Yeah, and I actually got to meet him when I went to Boston.
Huh.
So, it was pretty cool.
Do you know what his name means? Hachik? It means a small cross. So, oh good.
Did you want to share something in there?
Well, I was just going to see if I could read something about Alexandria. But I'm going to read more than what's in there. I mean, more than just Alexandria. It's thoughtful things. I say, when my memory goes back to the beginning years of my life, certain events and people stand out. Colors, scenery, even smells that surrounded me are revived. The years in between melt away and I'm transported to Alexandria, the original city built by Alexander the Great along the seashore of the Mediterranean Sea. Home of the famous Library of Alexandria and the Pharos, two of the 7 wonders of the ancient world. Alexandria was a cosmopolitan city in my day. We lived in 2 to 7-story apartment buildings with Greek, British, French, Jewish, Italian, Maltese, and German neighbors. Even though everyone spoke Arabic, the official language of the country, all the non-Arab groups kept their own customs and communicated with each other in French. French was also spoken at the bank, the department stores, private boutiques, etc.